It is 6 o'clock, and we call this meeting to order. And we're going to begin this evening with the Pledge of Allegiance. If you please stand. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mayor Thompson.
Present.
Mayor Pro Tem Estes.
Here.
Councilmember Corey.
Here.
Councilmember Hinton. Councilmember Rick.
Here.
Councilmember Applegate.
Here.
Councilmember Duncan.
Here.
All 7 members present.
Okay, before we get into the first item, we have had requests from the public to be sure that you turn on your microphone and lean into it so they can hear you very clearly. I know last week we were having some issues with the sound system, and but it is makes it easier for the recording also if anyone needs to go back and listen to it. So with that, we will go on to boards, commission, and committee appointments, and that says Ms. Bailey.
Evening, Mayor. Evening's recently seated City Council. Nice to see all your faces here tonight. Economic Development, Urban Renewal for the City of Fountain, Kimberly Bailey. I am here presenting to you a reappointment of Mr. Bill McMaster to serve another 5 years to the Fountain Urban Renewal Authority. He brings great tenure to the position and has served as our vice chair for the last 2 years. So he's really excited about the agenda, scope, mission for the urban renewal and would love to serve for another 5 years.
Great, thank you. And I don't think he's here this evening.
He is not, no.
Okay, alrighty. Well, you've had time to review Mr. McMaster's application to be on the FURA board. Does anyone like to make a motion? Mayor Pro Tem Estes.
I move to appoint Mr. McMasters back to a 5-year term on FURA.
And Mr. Applegate.
Second.
Commissioner Corey, did you have another question, or you were just, okay. All right, it's been moved and seconded. Please vote.
7 yes, motion carried.
Did I call you?
Thank you very much, and you all have a good holiday ahead of you.
Sorry. Thank you. All righty, give me just 1 second. I accidentally called him Commissioner Corey. I apologize, it's Councilmember Corey, so, all righty. Okay, City Council agenda requests. Anyone with any requests for things to put on the agenda? I will start down at this row tonight. Mr. Rick.
Nothing tonight, thank you.
Councilmember Corey.
Nothing tonight, Mr. Mayor.
Councilmember Hinton.
Nothing tonight, Mr. Mayor.
Nothing tonight.
Councilmember Applegate.
Nothing tonight.
And Councilmember Duncan.
I guess, I don't know, the CML board?
These are just, items for, items for future agenda requests. We're not to the committee stuff yet. Okay, all righty. Okay, so seeing none, we had a request last week from Councilmember Rick to put on the agenda to discuss the City Council meeting times, and he wanted to discuss the 5:30 start. I'm going to kind of go through the history of why that began, and then I'll turn it over to you for the discussion. So that began as a suggestion from the former mayor that on the first meeting of the month, we would begin the council meeting at 5:30, and not really beginning the council meeting. It's just more of an open time for if people came in and they had a resolution or a presentation they wanted to make to the council. That beginning at 5:30 did a couple of things. It gave the people coming in and doing that request or having that recognition time for us to really give them the attention that they needed. And it also gave them the courtesy of getting the attention that they wanted, so it wasn't just a rush through during the council time, and that way if they wanted to take photos or talk with some of the council members, they could do that. It also gave the scouts time to come in. If they needed to talk to council members for part of one of their badges, we could sign their books, chat with them for a minute, they could catch all the photos that they wanted to, instead of it being disruptive to the meeting where when different people came in, sometimes it'd be 3-4 times that people would want the council to come down or the mayor to come down for photos, and sometimes the meeting wouldn't get officially going with the business items until 6:15, 6:20, 6:25. Now, I know during COVID, obviously, less people came in for presentations or they had to be done virtually, so we haven't seen that happen. And also, the hope is with doing some of the recognitions in perpetuity, we won't have as many, but we still are going to have people wanting to come in and have presentations. And so we wanted to give them the time and the attention that we felt that needed. I know it does make it awkward sometimes if they don't show up. Like happened last week, we had some people we thought were going to come and they didn't come, and we thought some of that time was going to be used up with recognizing them. But you do end up with 10 or 15 minutes. It's totally optional for any council members to come. I know there's a couple of times I haven't made it, so if the 5:30 start time the first of the month for the recognitions doesn't fit in your schedule, that's okay. There's no pressure to come. And then the meetings would always begin at 6 p.m. So this is just a special time for the community and for us to be available for them to come and have recognition. So that is the history behind that. So go ahead.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I completely understand your points, and I thank you for giving me time to speak. The 3 points I would make is when you have different start times, people get confused as to when to be here, and if they're confused, they may not just come to the meeting at all. I can't tell you how many times I've gotten calls saying, is the meeting at 5:30 or is it at 6? Because residents are interested in attending the whole meeting, not just part of it. The second thing that I would bring up is I will use last week's meeting as an example. We showed up 30 minutes early. We spent 10 to 15 minutes going through an agenda item, and then we twiddled our thumbs for 15 or 20 minutes waiting for the 6 o'clock meeting to start. So we're coming in 30 minutes early to save 10 minutes on the back end, when really if we just included that 10 minutes in the regular meeting, it's not going to affect us one way or the other. Final thing I would bring up is while you said, yes, it's optional and council members don't have to be here for it, it isn't a good look for council members if they're missing. We have several council members that work. They're either having to take time off from their work, they're having to take vacation time to come in to cover their pay, or they're having to make other arrangements with their bosses to cover the time for that meeting. It's just my personal opinion. I think in order to be consistent, I would prefer to see the meeting stay at 6. However, I appreciate you giving me the opportunity to speak on it. Whatever you and the rest of the council decide, I will abide by. Thank you.
I understand. Just to clarify, meetings always begin at 6. If we have resolutions at 6 o'clock or presentations, the meeting always begins at 6 o'clock. So that's a good, easy answer for people when you're talking to them. Meetings always begin at 6. They're advertised to begin at 6. We will not begin the meeting before 6. I understand it can be a little awkward when we have 10 minutes or so, but that does give people the chance at the last minute to talk to staff about something if they're not clear on the agenda. I am open to discussing with other council members, but I already had spoken to staff about trying it for this first year to see, now that we're getting back out of COVID, to see if it is work, and I'm open to, if it doesn't work after a year, we can revisit it. But that would be my suggestion on what we want to do. And so this is going to be, am going to elicit opinions from everyone before we make the decision. But I do understand it is difficult. But again, it is optional, and I don't think it looks bad if someone's there or not. I've never felt guilty on the couple of weeks I wasn't able to make it. It just is, but you're there at 6 o'clock when the meeting begins. So anyways, if anybody would like to start on their opinion, go ahead, or else I'll just start going down the line picking on people. I don't see any buttons, so if you want to speak. Okay, Councilmember Corey, 5:30. Sticking with 5:30 once a month for resolutions before, or it doesn't matter to you?
Can we just keep everything at 6? Do 6
The
o'clock?
meetings will always begin at 6.
Yeah.
This was just to come in a little bit early for resolutions if you wanted to.
No, let's just keep it at 6. Let's
Okay.
just do everything at 6.
Councilmember Hinton.
I have no issues either way, 5:30 or 6. I will be here regardless.
Okay, and if you can't, it's not a big deal, right?
Yeah, no worries.
Okay, thank you. Councilmember Duncan?
I don't have a suggestion.
Okay. Councilmember Applegate?
I don't have a real opinion, but it always worked for 6 for years, so 6 is fine.
Councilmember Estes?
I don't care either way.
All right, nobody cares either way, so we'll leave it at 5:30, the first meeting of the month for a year. Scott, we'll revisit it in a year from now, and if it hasn't worked out, then we'll reconsider it. But meetings always begin at 6, so that is the message to the citizens, so. All righty, and if you're here at 5:30 and we have an extra 10 minutes, grab one of your council members and bend their ear, right? It's your big chance. All right, thank you. Okay, the next item on the agenda is, and I appreciate everybody's input on that. Thank you very much. And thank you for bringing it up. That's the way it works, right?
Yes, and thank you for hearing me out.
Absolutely. All right, next item on the agenda is council member to be heard. I'm sorry, public to be heard. Okay. And citizens may address the council on items that are not on the agenda. Council may not be able to provide an immediate answer, but will direct staff to follow up. Out of respect for the council and others in attendance, please limit your comments to 3 minutes or less. I haven't been handed any cards from anyone in the audience, so does anybody have anything to say in our huge audience we have tonight? All right. Okay, no public to be heard. So we will go on to item 7, the consent agenda. All items listed under the consent agenda are considered to be routine and will be approved in one motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless a council member or citizen so requests, in which case the item may be removed from the consent agenda and considered separately at the discretion of council. So does anyone have a motion to approve the consent agenda, and does anyone want to remove anything? Oh, I don't know who pushed the button first. Okay, Councilmember Rick.
Move to approve the consent agenda as stated in the agenda.
Councilmember Corey. I'm sorry, Councilmember Applegate.
Oh, second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion on anything on the consent agenda? Seeing none, please vote.
7 yes, motion carried.
Okay, we have no old business on the agenda tonight. Under new business, we have item A, consideration of items removed from the consent agenda. Nothing was removed, so that we bypass that. And then we have item 10, correspondence, comments, and ex officio. But before we get to that, because it is not on the agenda, I almost skipped by the committee and commissions that we all, if we have the time to be on them. There are several that we're on, and historically, I believe someone asked the question last week, Mr. Rick, about how people were nominated to these boards. And historically, what has happened is if there are people on the board in either the alternate or primary position, they are given the chance to stay on there. However, it can be discussed. A lot of times, the people on the board or commission are already in a position where they're on the executive or they're part of that board, being a chair, vice chair, or secretary, and or hoping to get elected to those positions. And so it's important to leave people in those positions. For example, on Pikes Peak Area Council of Governments, I am the primary, I'm the first vice chair on that board, and have been nominated to retain that position again for 2022. So and you also have to consider the time the board meets and see if that works into your schedule. I did have Scott send out, since the Emergency Services Association position is vacant, he did send out time and location that they are meeting. Does anyone have a question on any of the boards and the times or days that they meet before we begin on this? So is this a question on a time? Yes. Okay, Mayor Pro Tem Estes?
The only one that I'm not real familiar with is the Housing Authority. Do you know what the date and time is for that one? Because we haven't had anybody on that for a long time, have we?
No. Let me see if I can track down. I had an email sometime back from Kathy Roby. I thought I'd sent that. Did that not get put in the list? Let me see if I can track that down. Let me get it for you.
I was just wondering.
It's on the list, just not a
It's the
date
one
and a
that
time.
I'm not familiar with.
Okay, so let's give him a second to try to find that. And Councilmember Hinton?
Same question as Mayor Pro Tem. I got with Sylvia. She said she was going to track that down for me.
Yeah, I had the
think.
information. I was supposed to email it to you. Let me see if I
Okay,
can
well, we'll
check
just,
my-
that's fine, we'll just,
Yeah, Housing Authority.
that's fine, we'll just wait a minute. Yeah, they asked me a few years ago to be on that board, but I was on so many, I just had to pass on it, and they found another talented person to be on it, so, all righty. While they're looking that one up, is everybody okay with going ahead with some of the other ones up further on the list?
The answer is the third Thursday of the month at 6 p.m. for Housing Authority. Sorry. The third Thursday at 6 p.m.
And where did they meet?
at the Housing Authority.
Over right across the street here. Okay.
Mayor, if there's no objection, I'd like to be on that one. I can take that one.
Okay, Mr. Hinton has expressed his interest in being on the Housing Authority Board. Is there anybody else who is interested in being on that? And what happens on a lot of these boards is we submit your name and then the board votes on it. So, I mean, I haven't ever known of anybody not being approved, but it's just a process, right? So, all righty, so we have Councilmember Hinton interested on that one. Okay, let's see. So we have Pikes Peak Area Council of Government, and I am the primary on that board, and I would like to retain that position. Tamara Estes is the alternate on that board. Tamara, are you interested in staying on that board as the alternate?
I'll stay on if no one else wants it. But, you know, if someone else is interested in it, I'm willing to give that up.
Now, these boards are open, they are public meetings, and just to let you know, so if you're not directly on a board, a lot of them have hybrid options, so you can drop in on those meetings at any time if you're curious and it fits in your schedule and see what's going on. And I do have a button from Councilmember Rick.
Seeing that Mayor Pro Tem Estes is on 3 boards already, and I have been on the Pikes Peak Area Council of Governments Community Advisory Committee, I volunteer to be the alternate, if that's okay with Mayor Pro Tem Estes.
That's fine with me.
Okay. Anybody else?
I just went down
All
the
right.
list.
Now, we don't have to make motions and elect these people. We're just appointing them, right? Okay, so we're going to have Gordon.
Nobody objects. Of course, we just appoint.
Oh, we have had some arguments up here before over boards, and that's okay, right? That's how you work it out. I don't think anybody else is jumping out of their seat on that one.
Nope.
Okay, we have the Pikes Peak Regional Building, and we have a small city representative and a citizen advisory board, and Richard Applegate has been the representative on that. Did you want to continue on that?
Yes, I did.
Okay, all righty.
Unless anybody else.
All right, we have the CDBG Grant Board, and Tamara Estes and Todd Evans are on that. Tamara, did you want to consider continue on that?
I am not appointed by the city on that. I am the county commissioner district appointee on that, so it has nothing to do with the city.
Okay.
Wow.
So is your term?
That was, no,
your
I'm not out yet.
You're
I'm
not out.
term
You're-
limited.
okay.
No, not yet.
So do we have a city appointment too?
Yes, Todd Evans is the city one
I
on
see how
that.
that works. Okay.
Okay. All right.
That makes sense.
Colorado Municipal League as a legislative policy committee, I am the primary on that, and I would like to continue on that as the primary. Dieter, you're the alternate.
You want to be the alternate?
Yes, and I'd like to continue.
Okay.
Okay. And yeah, and again, those are all open meetings. and they're very interesting. If you you get on this, you'll all be on the CML mailing list, and some of those meetings you can attend as a guest and find out some of the positions that they're taking on legislative bills that are going on. Just kind of, they're so exciting. Just have it run in the background while you're doing something else. So really interesting to see different positions from different municipalities around the state. Colorado, the Fountain Creek Watershed board member is Tamara Estes.
I want to stay on that.
Okay, and the alternate position is vacant. Now, you've been meeting online, oh, I'm sorry,
when does that
Councilmember Duncan, was that,
Fridays at 2 o'clock, the fourth Friday, 2 o'clock.
and you've been meeting virtually, but you said they're trying to get back
Trying to
in
get back
person.
in person, but we're getting resistance from public.
If you go back to meeting in person, where are those meetings? Right here. Okay. And did I miss it on the last one, or did you just buzz in? I
We can go back
apologize.
after this, but I'd like to be the alternate for the Fountain Creek Watershed. But I
Oh.
also had pushed my button.
Okay. Okay, okay. Do we need to go back to another board that I missed your?
Yeah, the CML board.
Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, go ahead.
Okay. Speaking to my mic. The CML board is accepting applications for medium population. They have a vacancy for their board appointments. And just to give some background, I have been an honored guest with Terry Carver and others in the House before I became Fountain City Council. I have had lunch and learns at the state capitol before COVID, so I was there a lot. The last one I had was April of 2019. I have always been engaged in our legislative issues that we've had, especially when it comes to women and domestic violence. And so they have an appointment to the CML Executive Board that I'd like to apply for, and it said that I need an endorsement from the City Council, and what it reads, it says, "Dear CML Executive Board officers, the City of Fountain endorses the application of Deetra Duncan to be appointed to fill the vacancy of the Colorado Municipal League Executive Board, and we're a medium municipality, and it could be signed by the mayor, mayor pro tem, managers, city town clerk, or another appropriate municipal officer." So I'm asking for the endorsement of this council so that I can apply for this executive board position.
Okay, just for clarification, for people that aren't familiar with the way the board works, there's an executive board, and those board members are elected by the body. And then, obviously, somebody resigned and they have an opening and that is separate from this position on the Legislative Policy Committee. So that would be a different position. And so that is something I'm sure you can get Sylvia or Scott to sign for you, so without any problem. So, okay. All right, well, good luck with that.
Council good endorsing that? So we're putting together a letter.
I'd like to move that we endorse Deetra as a council.
Okay.
You've got a thing about how to fill it out.
Yeah, that's fine, but
They have a
just-
sample letter, so
they
I'll
have a
give it to
sample
you.
letter that they can get to Sylvia, so, yeah.
I would second the motion.
Oh, okay. I didn't think we needed to do that, but okay. I'm sorry? I think we all just kind of agreed as a board. I didn't think it had to be a motion, so. Sylvia?
Then if we do it as a council, then you can sign it.
Hang on just a second.
No, it's not needed as a motion, as long as she has the letter. that
Right.
if there's a consensus by council.
Yeah.
They'll move forward on the letter, then we're fine.
Yeah, we're all happy with it.
Yeah, well, good luck with that. All
Good
right.
luck.
You have any idea how many people are applying for it?
I have no idea.
Okay. All right. I think that's a board that we haven't been on in a very, very long time, so that would be good. All righty. So, okay. Don't make sure there's no more buttons lit so I don't miss them again. Okay. Emergency Services Association, like I mentioned earlier, I did have Scott send out some information on the time and date that board meets. That is a vacant position, so is there anyone interested on being on that board? And if we don't have a council member, we'll have to assign a staff member, but
Yeah, I'd like to be on it. What's the times and everything?
I don't know what the email
Yeah, I think that's the Tuesday at 7:30 meeting, I think.
It's a day meeting. I'm pretty
Yeah,
sure it's a
that's-
day meeting, like 1 o'clock or something, but Scott's looking it up real
Which I'm
quick.
available for, so.
Okay. Okay, you pulled it up. Go ahead.
Fourth Monday?
Yeah, it says currently the board meets every other month at 3 p.m. on the fourth Monday of the month.
Every other month. Okay, thank you.
And they're meeting virtually, right?
Right now, they are
Now
meeting
they're
virtually.
And when it does meet in the past, that's another open meeting anybody can attend. It's been up at the regional building is when they've met in person. But I understand they charge them to meet there. So it would be free if they met here, right? They wouldn't have to take that out of their money that we're, yeah, okay. All right, okay. So Mr. Councilmember Applegate expressed an interest in being on that board. Anybody, but I also saw Councilmember Corey's button come on too. That's fine, day meeting. It's a day meeting when you have to be at work. Okay, all righty, so Mr. Applegate's gonna be in there. All right, Fountain Valley Senior Center. I have been on that board for a number of years, and then Mayor Pro Tem Estes was on there even before she was a council member. She was on as a community member. And is there anyone else that would be interested in being that board? They do meet during the day. They're just changing the time to possibly be, it hasn't been voted on by the board yet. I want to say they want to change it to the fourth Wednesday of each month at 1 o'clock. That's when they want to change it to. So, you want to stay on the board?
Yeah.
Yeah, because you're supposed to be.
Yeah, I'm supposed to be
well, she's supposed to
becoming their vice chair.
Vice
so-
chair, okay. I'm going off as vice chair. Tamara's stepping up as vice chair. Okay. Urban Renewal Authority, Councilmember Estes.
And I just got appointed to that. It's a one-year term, because it's really supposed to be a 5-year, and I'm just filling out Gabe's 1 year.
Okay.
But it's an evening one.
Right. So you could
So-
finish out the 1 year, and then next year that would
Yeah,
be,
if somebody
Kimberly,
else.
of course, just left.
Yeah, and if somebody else wants to start coming to them and so we can transition it next year, that'd be great. See, it's, what is it? It's the Wednesday right after the first council meeting, so we had it last week.
Second Wednesday of the month in the
Second
evening.
Wednesday in the evening.
Okay.
I'd like to come just to see what they're about. I don't know if I would want to be, but I'd like to see what they're about.
Yeah.
I'll make sure I send you when the meeting
Yeah.
is.
And they're open meetings, correct, Sylvia?
Yes.
So they're open meetings, but would you need to go if more than one council member, or because they're open meetings, it's okay, however many
Open
drop in?
meetings is fine.
Okay, all righty. And we already filled the Housing Authority Board with Mr. Hinton, so unless I missed something or somebody else has changed their mind?
I would like to volunteer to be the alternate for the Emergency Services Administration.
I do not believe there's an alternate on that board. Chief Heber, is that correct? Okay, we'll check it out. All right, we'll check on it, and,
Rather be on it, Rick?
No, I just, if you're unavailable, I want to be able to fill in.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
That,
And those meetings are open. They are open. I've been to them
Yeah.
before, open.
Did I hear they're virtual now? Or are they
as far as I understand, they have been now.
hybrid?
Right now, they're completely virtual. Right.
Okay. Then I'd have to find out how I get on.
Yeah, and well, Sylvia will get the names to everybody, and they'll get you on their email loop list, so.
You asked.
All right, so that was pretty much our agenda items for tonight. There is no executive session, correct, Sylvia?
That's correct.
Okay, so we'll go around real quick, correspondence, comments, and ex officio reports. It's the last meeting of the year. We're going to start with Paul.
Perfect.
I have nothing to see from
All right, Sylvia.
I don't have anything, just Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.
All right, in the back there, Mike. No, Chief Heber. I'm mixing everybody up tonight, huh?
Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. Any comments I have, I will defer to the Honorable City Manager.
Well, the toy distribution,
Yeah, my lead planner had a catastrophe. He had a sinkhole develop in his house, but then flooded his basement. That's what you get in the city to our north. So as he was recovering his basement, we shifted the toy drive to Thursday, 1 p.m., meeting at the police department. It's earlier in the day. We'll avoid rush hour traffic, and we'll probably visit about 25 kids' houses and drop off those gifts. We have more gifts in the police department. It has filled up our entire upstairs room. There are literally thousands of gifts up there. So we're going to make that delivery, and then the rest of the cops and firefighters throughout the week of Christmas are going to hand deliver gifts and give gifts to kids in our neighborhoods randomly in our city that probably need them the most. So thank you.
so if you see someone on social media saying, oh my gosh, I just lost my job, or something costs more, a car got wrecked,
Send
whatever,
them our
send
way.
them over to PD.
If anybody knows any families in needs this year, and I really mean this, send them our way. They will have a great Christmas, I promise you.
Troy,
Nothing for me tonight. Merry Christmas.
mayor. You might as well be mayor. He tells me what to do, huh?
So,
Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Scott.
I have two items. Number one, just a quick informative thing. I want to let you know that we, in the past, have done emergency operations training with the council, and so we're going to be pulling that together as well in this new year. So just expect an invitation for us. Hopefully we'll get it done in the first couple months of the year, that we can bring you guys in and give you an overall view of sort of your role in a major event, as well as just discussing active shooter in council meetings and things like that. So I'll let you know that's something we're working on, just to give you a heads up on that. The other thing is, I want to let you know, we really kind of have to ask a little bit for, I don't know if this is a consent or what, but we have, the council, I think most of you are aware that we've received ARPA funds from the feds, for the COVID dollars. And we've been allocated about $7.7 million overall. We came to the council in June of this last year and had a whole list of different proposed uses for those funds. The council at that time had a discussion. We have now a list of I'm calling them pre-approved uses. We then came back in August and got formal approval on a number of them. But one of the items that we had on our list, pre-approved, but we'd indicated we were basically planning on waiting and getting some bids because we didn't know the exact cost, were life packs and gurneys. Life packs and gurneys for the ambulance. And that number was about $236,000 that we anticipated coming out of the ARPA funds. And so the idea is we're going to get bids, come back to the council, get approval, and so forth. Well, we just got bids back, and the number was actually a little bit lower, 231. Is that right?
231.
231.
With another $20,000 discount.
Okay. One of the things we became aware of, however, is that the pricing for the company is going to jump up 25% in the new year. And so rather, our plan was just, we'll wait, we'll come back to the council, we'll get approval, we'll make our order. Well, we just found out what was happening, and now it just sort of kind of gave us a rush to save $60,000 of those ARPA funds if we get sort of a general sense from the council on whether or not you'd be comfortable with us ordering that or not. We would have to still come back for a formal supplemental budget from the council. We'll bring that back in our first meeting in January. That would be what we'd actually formally do to approve that into the new budget year. But I just, when we found that out yesterday, I was like, it was sort of put us in a little bit of a tight spot on trying to get something ordered and not wanting to have to pay that much more money. So I don't know how the council feels with us ordering those using the ARPA funds. And if the council wants a little bit of an explanation about what the life packs and gurneys are, Chris can do that as well.
And it'll be a total savings of $70,000 to order it now versus 2 weeks from now.
So you want to know if we approve saving money?
Yes.
Well, I just feel uncomfortable because, really, I just wish I had it on the actual agenda, So there was a formal approval now, but there's just no way to do it.
Just real quick, can you explain in 30 seconds what a life pack is?
Yeah, number one, the cots are automatic. They're automatic loading patients into the ambulance. It's safer for the patients. It's safer for the firefighters. If there's 4 firefighters and the patient weighs 400 pounds, it does happen. We experience back injuries at a high frequency, so it's safer. Life packs are the life monitoring systems you would see in a doctor. These are very specialized. You go in the ambulance, we put it on, and it monitors all your vital signs. Very good. The ones we currently have now are approaching and will be past their end-of-life cycle, which is 8 years. So it's very critical we replace them.
Okay. Good stuff.
Okay, so you just want a consensus, or do you need a motion?
I don't know that I can have a motion since it wasn't actually advertised. I
Right,
just,
so you just need kind of a consensus that we agree that just give Scott a thumbs up, nod your head, whatever he wants to save money to.
and if there's any
5%.
concerns, just you can let me know, email me, whatever.
Okay,
Thank you.
all right.
Thank you. And then the last thing I would say, just Merry Christmas. I hope you all have a wonderful holiday season. It's been a pleasure.
Was that to place the order or wait?
Yeah, go ahead
No,
and do the
go
order.
ahead.
Thank you.
You said it's going up 25%, right?
We're ordering. Thank you.
All right, order it quick while they're still there, so we can, how long it'll take to get here, who knows, right?
Yes, ma'am.
All righty. We'll start at this end of the table tonight. Oh, you're pointing down to the other end of the table? Miss Sylvia comes first. I asked Miss Sylvia, she didn't have anything. That's okay. We went so fast.
I have nothing tonight, thank you.
All right,
Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to everybody.
all right.
I just want to thank the staff for taking the time. I've had a great opportunity to meet with a couple staff members this past week, Chief Herbert and Battalion Chief Torres. It was a great meeting. These men and women do a lot for the city, and I'm appreciative of what they do. I think sometimes we're in the mindset that the fountain does more with less, but I think that needs to change. Our city is growing, and we need to provide enough resources to help our public safety out. So I'm grateful for their service and all that they do, and Merry Christmas, everybody.
When you take those tours with the staff, it's pretty amazing everything that goes on, isn't it?
It is. It is. It's very eye-opening.
Yes. Mayor Pro Tem Estes.
I just want to give a big shout out to our utilities department that went up and helped Colorado Springs Utilities get the power back on up there. I thought that they're getting good press coverage on that, and I just wanted to extend my thanks for them being willing to do that too.
We help them all the time.
So, good job.
It was great on the news coverage, though. Every time they started their report, there was that Fountain Utilities truck right in the front. Every time they showed it, I was like, yes.
Love it.
Merry Christmas.
Okay, I just want to
Councilmember
thank staff for saving us money, and Merry Christmas.
Councilmember Duncan.
I have a couple of things. So on December the 5th, I forgot to mention on last week that the Pikes Peak Diversity Council, can you hear me? Okay. So the Pikes, and you have to forgive my voice, because if you notice, it's in and out different times, and I'm been struggling with trying to get my voice back to where it used to be. So the Pikes Peak Diversity Council had a holiday gospel concert, and this was on December 5th, and it was at 6 o'clock, I believe, and I was the MC. And they gave the YMCA, the Fountain Valley YMCA, $700, and Fountain was a sponsor of this event. It was a wonderful event, and if you missed it, you missed a treat. It was really good. Also, our Fountain Youth Council, we are collecting coats and hats for kids, new coats and hats for kids. The collection points are the city building, the Fountain Utilities, and the Fountain Police Department. So as soon as we get those boxes out, that's where we'll be collecting those, and we'll be collecting through January the 31st of 2022. I also participated in Wreaths Across America with the Pikes Peak National Cemetery. I know that it was done here at the Fountain Cemetery, but I had already set up this event. I'm the president of a auxiliary, and we had already set it up for the Pikes Peak National Cemetery. So thanks for everyone who donated. And also this weekend, we donated over 100 items to the Colorado Springs Pregnancy Center on Whitefield Boulevard, and they were so appreciative of those gifts. And Merry Christmas to everyone. Be blessed. And I express my sincere thanks to our staff for all that you do for Fountain.
All right, sounds like everybody's really busy and lots of stuff going on, and this is our final meeting for 2021. So I'll see everyone in the new year. Happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and we'll see everybody in 2022.